Okay, we're about to interview an amazing music writer. Hattie Collins is the head music editor of RWD Magazine, also editor of Rewind Magazine, contributing writer to Guardian, XXL, Vibe, Mary Claire. Hattie Collins, welcome. So what is it like being the music editor of RWD Magazine?
Music editor of RWD Magazine is great because I don't have to go into the office, which is a beautiful thing. They pay you literally on time, which is another very beautiful thing. And thirdly, they give you quite a lot of the freedom to choose who you want to do, which is really, really great. You know, a lot of places, I mean, Rewind obviously I get a lot of freedom as well, but say, for instance, other newspapers, you don't always get to have free reign and say, we should do this person, we should do that person. At RWD, generally, you kind of suggest people and they're like, yeah, cool, just go ahead and do it. So it's great, it's very creative, it's very free. I really like being at RWD.
So not one bad thing at all?
The only bad thing is sometimes you do a lot of stuff and it doesn't always run. That's really hard.
Was it always your dream when you were younger to be a writer?
I had loads of records because I was a hip hop head, so hip hop heads bought vinyl, that's what we did, and tape. So I ended up DJing, I got a little radio show on the student radio. I thought, let me combine my love of music with, I'd always got on well as a writer at school. It was the only thing really that I was good at. I was very bad at maths and science, wasn't particularly academic in that sense at all. But so I put those two together. And somehow, the writing thing just happened. It was it wasn't never meant to be, but it became what was.
Wow.
Oh, that was good. I liked how that sounded. I might put that on my CV.
In your own words, what would you say your job role is as a music writer?
I think primarily to unearth both new talent and existing talent and kind of spread the word about those people. I mean, I suppose my job as well is to be quite critical, which I try to be. I try to be fair. I try to be kind of analyse stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm a music fan, and sometimes if I love the music, which is another great thing about RWD actually, is that they only really feature people that they think are great. So you can be really over enthusiastic and stupid and really shout about people's praises. Like for instance, I just did Lil Wayne, who I'm slightly obsessed with. So
slightly?
It's a little bit. So I can just be this stupid piece about how amazing, and then I do the same guy. I did the Little Wayne for the Guardian newspaper, and it has to be a lot more constructed and analytical, and you might have to sort of criticise here and there.
A little bit.
With Rewind, you have to have an air of responsibility. You have to remember that there's a lot of young kids reading the magazine. So, you know, I want to point out the fact that he's apparently got like issues with drugs related to the syrup and stuff that he sips and weed and stuff. So yeah, you'll try and have an air of responsibility to educate a little bit to kids that, you know, this isn't actually such a great thing. I mean, we try, we don't always manage to achieve that, but yeah, we try.
So you're a bit of a jet setter. You travel the world, get to meet loads of music artists, constantly on a plane, on the go from this country to that country to this country. Why is it you have to fly to meet the artist instead of having a phone interview or via email?
Well, basically, from a financial point of view, for the record label, to fly over an artist, the artist will have a whole team of people with them, management and makeup and potentially. So that's 12 people that are going to expect a higher standard of like business class flying. They'll throw me in economy. It's all good with me, I don't mind. I'll just work on my own upgrade when I get to the airport. And then they'll have all these, you know, it's a lot of money. So why fly 12 people when you can just fly me fairly cheaply over to, you know, wherever the interview happens to be. And also doing a phone or an email interviews it's very static. You know, you don't get, but phone interviews I find are terrible. I've had very bad phone interviews actually with many artists.
Can you name any?
Yeah, I mean, like I had a terrible one with Eve, so then I had to do a face-to-face and I thought, oh, she's going to be horrible. And was just the opposite, absolutely brilliant face-to-face. Nas was the same, much better. You know, I have so many experiences where I've had bad phoners, but the artists are actually great. What happens is they're probably in a room, they're eating food, they're with their mates, they're playing PlayStation, they're watching telly, so they're, you know, distracted and there's no personal connection. It's harder for me it's easy for me to say to you, okay, it's a very personal question, but let's talk about the time that you had, you know, the divorce or the drugs, face to face, and they can see that, you know, maybe I'll reveal something about myself. But on the phone, it's just an anonymous person.
Many people say in the industry that if you haven't been through Hattie Collins in terms of you listening to their music, you're not going to get nowhere. How does that make you feel that you're that big?
Really? Have you really heard that?
I've heard that.
Wow. Well, it's great, isn't it? It's really, yeah.
Did you ever think it's going to be this big?
I know that I've done well, and there's still a lot more that I want to achieve, but it's not something that I didn't ever. All I ever wanted to do was to write for Vibe magazine. That was my one true goal.
And you've done that.
And I did do that, definitely. And after that, I didn't really have any expectations. So, if people think that's very great, but there's a lot of other fantastic writers out there that I think people really need to go see it.
What place would you recommend to somebody coming up? A place to study or to start if they wanted to get to like your level?
If you're going to do university, get work experience at a Rewind or a Hip Hop Connection or a Touch or NME, wherever it is you want to go, because that is the way to do it.
And finally, before we wrap up, what advice would you offer to anybody out there that's striving to be the next Hattie Collins?
Don't miss deadlines.
Mm-hmm.
Don't miss deadlines. Don't send emails to people like me saying, yeah, cuz, what's up? I want to write in it, because it's not the way to approach anybody. You have to really be careful how you approach. Make sure you don't have spelling mistakes in your CVs. That's very important as a writer. Dedication, drive, determination, and don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Don't let anybody stand in your way. Really strive for your goals, and it's very, very hard. It's a very hard industry to get into, but if with hopefully with some good luck and some good fortune and some hard work, you'll get there and make of it what you will. But also, and this isn't to discourage people, but sometimes I know a lot of writers that actually weren't particularly great writers that have become fantastic A&Rs or fantastic PR people or fantastic makeup people or fantastic producers, whatever. They've gone into other areas. So don't force yourself into a bracket sometimes. Be a bit free and easy and see what happens.
Cool. It was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.